Well, good morning from a beautiful camp spot in Mammoth Lakes, California. Obviously, I'm in the Ross Monster, and there's a reason for that. The goal was to bring Sully on this trip. We're here for the Rebel Rally. That starts in just a few days from when I'm recording this video, and the plan was for me to bring my Gladiator out here and follow along the Rebel in Sully. That wasn't able to happen. This is a video that I never wanted to make. Never thought I would have to make. I'm not trying to over dramatize this. To understand what's going on, I need to take you back to the beginning, and this is not going to be a long video. I'm not going to draw this out, but I need to take you back to the beginning. When the Gladiators first came out, when the JLs first came out, I did not want them. Too many electronics, had no interest in owning a JL. When the Gladiators came out, thought they were ugly, in stock form, they are ugly. But thought they were ugly, and again, had no desire to have one. I had a 2012 four-door JK Rubicon that I absolutely loved. His name was Knuckles, and I absolutely loved Knuckles. I thought I was going to keep Knuckles forever. In the spring of 2021, Kara and I, knowing that our goal for the fall of 2025 was to begin traveling full time, we just kind of went. It was a beautiful Saturday. We just went and looked. We went to the local RV store because we thought at that point that the way this was going to happen was, you know, a small RV pulling my JK, and we were going to go travel the world, or at least the U.S. Or North America in that. And so I was like, you know what? It's a beautiful day. Let's go see what's out there. And I'd never been in an RV before, and so we did. We went and looked, we looked at some RVs. We were looking at some vans. And Kara we saw this one little camper topper, and Kara just had the idea, well, what about like an alu-cab on the back of a Gladiator? And I thought, huh. And by that point, the Gladiators had been out for a year. I thought, you know what? Let's go test drive a Gladiator. I hear they drive amazing. You know, just going out and having fun. And so we did. We went and test drove a Gladiator that early Saturday afternoon. And oh my gosh, we test drove a Mojave and we test drove a Rubicon. And oh my gosh, I was absolutely blown away by the ride quality, by the interior space. I mean, I instantly fell in love with the Gladiator, and my wheels started spinning about what type of rig I could build off a Gladiator platform for overlanding purposes. I mean, my brain just immediately started going crazy. Well, by later Saturday afternoon, I did what I never thought I would do. We took the JK in to get its trade-in value, and Monday morning I picked up my brand new Gladiator. Named it Sully because it was blue, and I've typically got blue and purple in my hair. And Kara said, "Oh, that's perfect." You know, we wanted Sully to be big and you know, awesome. And so Kara came up with the name Sully to match Sully from Monsters Inc. And it stuck, and so that's why Sully is named Sully. And I immediately got to work. We put a 3-inch rock crawler lift on it, immediately 37-inch tires, and I had that Jeep on Pritchett Canyon out in Moab. Broke a passenger side front U-joint before I ever made the first payment. Yeah. So I mean, we immediately just went out to test the sucker and see what it can do, and went out to Moab, ran Cliffhanger, ran Stillbender, ran all the hard obstacles on Hell's Revenge, and was just blown away by its capabilities. So as it progressed, I mean, I just fell more and more in love with Sully. Got the 10 on the back, went through a couple different versions of that to where it sits now, of, you know, being a really dialed Overland rig that is super capable off-road. Can tackle any trail that I might encounter out exploring. And, you know, when I get the rock crawling itch, it handles that fantastically. So I love my Gladiator. And actually, this last spring, after it had crossed 100,000 miles, I made a video on, are these things reliable? Because up until recently, I have not had a single issue with Sully that wasn't self-induced like the U-joint. The only thing in 4 years of ownership up until now that I had to take Sully into the dealership for was were two things. One, a headlight that went out, replaced under warranty, and two, the aux battery, which is a common issue with JLs and JTs. So those are the only two things, a headlight and the aux battery, and that's it. So I made that video springtime of last year, but right after it, you know, shortly after I crossed 100,000 miles in it. And yeah, I mean, that for 100,000 miles in 4 years, I put an average of 30,000 miles on that Gladiator a year. It was flawless. But last summer, when I was in the flat tops, if you watched that last video, I said in it that something was going on. I could tell, you know, in 4-low, trying to climb hills, on the interstate, just, you know, fighting headwinds and stuff. I could tell it just didn't feel like it had the power it used to. It felt like it was struggling with power. And I was burning oil. I got a low oil light while I was in the flat tops. And, you know, no clue why. I wasn't leaking oil. I was burning oil. So in the last year, that was over a year ago, I took it to the dealer for that. They checked it out. They couldn't find anything wrong except for a PCV valve issue. And so they replaced the PCV valve or sensor or something and said, good luck. Well, the problem never went away. The Pentastar is well known for its dry starts. All the oil, there's nothing that keeps the oil up at the top of the engine. And when you start it, it's a dry start. And especially when you have 120,000 miles on your Jeep, you can hear that. It sounds rough. And then, I mean, just a couple turns and then boom, it sounds smooth again. Never had rocker cam issues or, you know, the rocker and cam known issues. Never had any of those issues. Though I was starting to wonder if maybe that was going on. Well, we took it when we went out to the Pacific Northwest to pick up the Ross Monster. I took it to a local shop that had a good reputation. I don't like my dealership in town, so I took it to a local shop and said, I'm going to be gone for 5 weeks. Figure this out, please. Take your time, figure it out. And unfortunately, they called me like the next week and said, yeah, this is something. Maybe they gave me some lame excuse and said, you need to take it to the dealer. I was like, okay. I picked it up and it had a completely dead battery. They were talking about codes and stuff that it was throwing, but it was all because of the battery being dead. Anyway, stupid, complete waste of time. So before this trip, knowing I didn't feel confident at that point bringing it out here. So I took it to the dealership, said, I'm going to be gone for a month. Figure it out. And got a phone call yesterday. Sully needs a new engine. Apparently the rings are super worn, the pistons are worn, and the solution is a new engine. So right now it's just sitting at the dealer. I'll pick it up when I get home. It's still drivable. I mean, I was still driving around town. I would have driven it out here, but just didn't want to have to deal with that with the rally going on if something happened. We have an event for our patrons at Maris Adventure Park in November. So if you're not a patron and you want to, you know, come to one of our patron events, check out the Patreon link in the description or on the QR code here. And we'll get home 1st of November from this trip. That's the 3rd week of November out at Maris. And then after Maris, I got to figure something out. And I have landed on two options. One is the cheap budget way. I can get a lightly used, 20,000 miles Pentastar installed for $5,000. I like the Pentastar engine. I think it has enough power, especially when regeared. I got 120,000 miles on it out of it. It's just a smooth, it's a quiet engine, which I like, being out on the trail. So I could do a Pentastar, but like I said, lightly used for $5,000, and just continue on with Sully like that. Then there's the option from America's Most Wanted. If you saw one of my Moab videos last year before last, when I was out with Sean in the Trail Destroyer, in his massive Hemi powered, 600 horsepower V8. That thing is sweet. That thing is fun to drive, but that thing is stupid loud. And I said immediately after those videos, I don't want a Hemi swap. I don't want to be driving down the trail and just hear, roar, 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 roar. I want to hear the stream I'm driving by. I want to hear the birds. I want to hear the animals shuffling through the leaves. That's what I want. I want to experience where I am. I don't want to hear the V8 grumble. But AMW now has the much smaller 5.7. Very modest 425 horsepower, 450 horsepower, which the Gladiator I think has 285 or 300 horsepower, somewhere around it. I think we're just below 300 horsepower. So it is a moderate horsepower increase, which in the Gladiator, especially being heavy and built the way Sully is, would be welcome to have a, I think 425 horsepower would be awesome in the Gladiator. It's a quieter V8. So when I get back home, I will figure that out. I will explore the 5.7. Everybody's yelling at Jeep with the 392 Gladiator to no, don't give us the 392, give us the 5.7 from the factory. It'd be a cheaper option. So doing the 5.7 from America's Most Wanted is tempting to see what that would be like in reality. But there's also a budget. Pentastar, $5,000. Hemi swap, even with the 5.7 being cheaper, a lot more than $5,000. So anyway, I wanted to give you the update. Sully is down, but Sully is not out. Sully is not going anywhere. I will have one last hoorah in Sully at Maris, and maybe even a trip to the Ozarks in November. Like I said, as long as I just keep watching it and keep the oil topped off in it, it does fine. So Sully is down. Sully is not out. Sully is not going anywhere. One of our Jeeps, when we get home, is going somewhere. It will be sold. Not sure if it's going to be the Wrangler yet. Not sure if it's going to be the Pink Gladiator. Blue or Poppy. But one of the pink Jeeps will be sold, because we don't need a Ross Monster and 3 Jeeps. We're just there. That waits till after the rally's over. So if you're in the market for a well-built and proven Wrangler or possibly Gladiator, let me know in the comments, because they will be sold as is. We're not going to strip everything off of them. If we end up selling Boo, which is probably what we'll do, that's my gut, but that's a post-rally problem. If we end up selling Boo, Boo will be sold as is. We'll probably take like their Team Grit and Grace name off the wrap, because someone may buy it and do something stupid and look what Matt and Kara did. So we may take that off, but no, all the mods, new set of tires, the lift, the interior mods, all that sort of stuff will go along with it. So we'll see. TBD on that. Wanted to give you an update on Sully. He's down, but he's not out, and he's not going anywhere. Anyway, little update for you. Thanks for watching. If you would, like, subscribe. If you want to start a GoFundMe for a 5.7 Hemi swap for me, I wouldn't say no. I'm kidding. No, I wouldn't say no, but no, I'm not asking anybody to do that. We're good. Yeah. Thanks for watching. There's the update. Let me know in the comments what you think. Just stay Pentastar, or explore the 5.7 more. So let me know.